Pro Nook with the dry pollen inside. The bees have found it and they're working it. And you can see the shadow line there. There's plenty of it in there still. I had originally set it underneath that little pine tree, but something got to it, knocked it over. I think it was a raccoon. So I moved it up here and seems to be fine. And the bees found it. And they're working it, so that's good. Super windy out here today. Also super warm. Trying out this new microphone. And hopefully that helps with the wind. Hopefully you're not hearing the wind noise. So I'm doing something for the first time today. I'm working colonies in February. I've never been into a box in February checking for brood, checking on the queens, things like that, but I'm going to do it today because it is currently 60 out. It's supposed to be 65. It's February 27th. I don't ever remember it being this warm where we're at here in Michigan, but I got the day off and I'm going to use it to do a quick check on these colonies, see where they're at. All right, so I'm trying out a new camera tripod. It's a clamp on, so I got it sitting on a box. And I'm not sure how it's going to work. I'm going to try a few different angles, so if this looks a little funny, just wait a second, because I'm going to try a couple different things. I don't really know what the bees are going to be like today. I mean, it's straight up warm out here. I'm in a t-shirt, but it's windy. But I'm really just curious to see what's going on. I've never been in a hive in February. Try to play the wind here with my smoker. Well, they're really working this fondant patty. Yeah, this looks good and full. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 frames of bees. Let me see if I can pop into here and see what kind of attitude they're going to get. Nobody's been in these boxes since probably October. Maybe early November, I think, is the last time I was in these, just to give them some feed, if I remember right. I'm going to try to go nice and slow. And they seem to be in a little frenzy, but they're not coming after me or bumping me or anything. They're just a little fired up. Now this frame is full of nectar. I have no idea how that's the case, unless that's water, but no, that's nectar. Oh, that's just honey. Oh, it's the honey they're robbing. I bet you this is all the honey they've been robbing from these dead outs. They've put it back in their cells. So this whole thing is not nectar, it's honey, but it's uncapped. Nothing on this side. I know this weather is going to be short-lived. It's supposed to cool back down into, like, you know, the upper 40s. But again, just full of nectar, or I'm sorry, full of honey. I was really just curious to see if there's any brood in these boxes. I don't know if there would be. I keep my bees inside in the winter, so they did a couple months inside in the dark in a relatively temperature controlled environment. I got to get better at controlling the temperature, but pretty controlled in there, so I'm just wondering if they started brooding up earlier than they would if they're outside. All honey. So I don't see any brood, so they're just storing right now. They're robbing all these dead outs and getting that dry pollen, and they're packing it in here. There's queen. I dropped that frame because a bee stung me right on the tip of my finger, and it caught me off guard. First sting of the year, right in the tip of the pointer finger. Yeah, we've got eggs and brood. This whole frame is laid full of eggs. Got a little bit of capped brood right here, but mainly eggs. A little bit of larvae, but there's eggs all the way down. So we have a laying queen who's starting to brood up. Now hopefully she'll just brood up 1 or 2 frames, because it is going to get cold again. It's usually we get a false spring here. It's pretty typical. It doesn't usually get this warm for this long. We'll occasionally get a random 50-degree day, but it doesn't stay this way. It's been this way for, I don't know, week plus, 10 days now of just, 40s or 50s, and now today we got 60. Give them their patty back. I'm just gonna pop along and check some colonies. Mainly just enjoy this day. I mean, to get a nice warm day here, feels like spring. Get out in the bees, it's just an awesome experience. They are working this fondant big time. This was put on about, I don't know, probably a week ago. And they are tearing it up. Yeah, so I'll just work through a few of these. If I find something interesting, I'll show you. And I just kind of wanted to see what condition the colonies are in, and if they are healthy and brooding up, putting stores away, or if there's something that I see that I could fix. It'd be hard to fix anything right now, but still just nice to take a look, see what they're doing, kind of get in here and get back into beekeeping a little bit. Just a bunch of honey. Let me go grab a box to sit on. My back's already hurting. All right, I'm back. So this will be a great test for this new microphone, because it's pretty windy out here today. And I'll be curious to see what this video footage sounds like, if this is worth the money or not. Not much going on here. This colony is a little smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 frames. Between 5 and 6 frames of bees. Figuring on a day like this, there's a lot of bees out foraging, so probably closer to 6, but they're not packing in the honey like the other ones. It's a little bit in here. Old Jay-Z Beezy cup. Now this side's full of honey. All this fresh honey they've robbed out and stored away in here. To be out here inspecting colonies in February is just crazy. And there's probably folks that say I shouldn't do it, and they might be right, but I wanted to, so I am. Got some brood here. that's interesting. And this is all eggs. So that's laid up. Some more brood on this side. Little bit of brood and a bunch of eggs. Mostly every cell I see basically from this line of bees up, so they're keeping it warm, I guess, is all eggs or larvae. So that's cool. No need to go any further. I'll put them back. I don't want to get them too fired up. So this box was the only survivor on this whole pallet. 4 pallets, or I'm sorry, 4 boxes on a pallet, and this is the only hive that made it. So maybe we'll find out why. Take a look here. See what's so impressive about them. They've eaten a little bit of the fondant, not too much. Colonies all over on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5 frames. Not too big. So if they're all over here, I'll start on this side. This is the first time you break these apart. They can get a little crazy. I don't want to smush any bees. So honey, stored honey. Same thing here, stored honey. Let's see what these are. These are just blanks. Drawn comb, nothing in it. Just honey. Well, I guess I can take these out. So that tells me this is a queen that I grafted. So that's cool. She made it through winter. That's a plus. Anytime you graft your own queen, if she makes it through winter, that's pretty exciting. This is just all stored honey. There she is. Right there. Good work on her part. She's laying. She's got brood right here. Brood and eggs right here. So she's laying up a little patch of brood. She's on the smaller side. But she's a survivor. And she's already getting her colony laid up for spring. So for now, she's a keeper. This is just all nectar. So I don't see a lot of pollen in here. That's interesting. Kind of glad I put that pollen sub out. Tons of propolis. A little bit of pollen in this frame, but not much. So I'm going to push them towards the center by 2 frames here. Let's see if I can get these back in. There's so much propolis on these. Don't know if I can get them. There we go. Tight fit. So I could put a pollen patty on her, but I'm a little hesitant to do that in February. I usually try to do that in March. All right, take a look in here, see what they're up to. So the double fondant here, just starting to, this one's almost gone. Just starting to work it, that bigger one. So good population of bees. Just had a thought. I opened this hive up right next to that dead out that's getting just completely robbed. There's my queen. Red dot, almost worn off. She's one of the VSH queens that I purchased. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have opened this hive right next to a hive that's getting robbed out. So that's probably a terrible idea. So what I'm going to do is close it up real quick, because I don't want to cause harm to this hive. Didn't even think about that. I don't know that I am causing harm to this hive, but you know, the hive next to him's left intentionally open to get robbed out. So there's hundreds of bees right next door in robbing mode, or foraging mode, or some combination of the two. And then I opened this one up and exposed them. So what I'm going to do is actually take a break here. I'm going to move all of these dead outs away from these hives, just so I don't cause robbing of unintentional robbing of other hives. All right, I feel a lot better. Moved all the dead outs to a couple of empty pallets, just a little bit out of the way so that the colonies aren't getting messed with here. Didn't think about that till just now, but the last thing I want to do is create any stress on these survivor colonies. Mostly gone. A little bit of fondant around the edges. This little half I added, I think I added this about a week ago. And they're getting on that too. And there's some of this left over from winter. These are those day-dant winter patties. They eat these too. The only thing I don't like about these is the heat from the colony melts them, and it gets all over. They turn into like liquefied goo. So now this is a smaller colony. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 frames of bees in the clusters like right here. So they're not even full. So this is definitely one of the smaller ones. So we'll see what they end up doing. Man, these bees, they are just propolis and like so much. I wonder if there's anything to that. You know, the ones that survived the winter, the ones that are heavy on the propolis. This is full of nectar, honey, all that good stuff. Same. Left one of these in here by accident. So these bees here have a ton of honey. 1, 2, 3, like 3 full ones and a half one. So they are strong in the storage game. They clearly collected a lot of honey last fall and stored it up. They're preppers, survivalists. That's kind of what I like to see. This open area here, you got capped honey here. This is all open. They're just filling it back up with honey. I'm assuming that they robbed. It's just full of honey, but it's not capped. Yeah, I do wonder if there's any correlation to the amount of propolis in the hive and survivability. Things I'm thinking about keeping an eye on for queen breeding. There's the queen, Corey Stevens VSH queen. And she's got a little brood laid up here. She's got most of this side laid up with eggs, a little bit of capped brood. So that's cool to see. Let's put them back. I missed the apivar strips, both of them in this box. So they had a strip on all year. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's probably bad, but oh well. Too late to deal with it now. So I went through 4 or 5. I think this was, like I said, this was the 5th hive. Probably not going to go through them all, but they all looked good. Bees are alive and well, plenty of resources, starting to brood up, see a lot of eggs. Most of the colonies I looked at had at least one frame with one side full of eggs. So I assume the queens are starting slow and they know what they're doing. So I'm not going to put pollen patties on today. I'm really tempted to, but I don't want to boost the brood up too fast. I think what I'm going to do is watch this weather here and maybe get about 10 days. I'd like to get to like the 1st, 2nd week of March and then start putting pollen patties on and let them just go gangbusters. I certainly don't want them to break cluster to keep the brood warm and then die. I don't want to kill the colony in my pursuit of early buildup. So I'm going to give it a couple weeks. Right about mid-March, I'm going to drop pollen patties on them, assuming the weather is going to cooperate. Pretty happy with it, pretty excited. It was cool to be out here. I'm going to end the video here, but I'm going to continue just poking around out in the bee yard because it's so nice out here and enjoy this beautiful day. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video and take care. All right, so I pulled all of the dead outs off of the pallets here. I didn't want to cause any additional robbing on the hives that survived. So here they are over here. I didn't move them that far, but just far enough to hopefully keep the bees from robbing each other out. So we got a couple little dead out castles here, and these should give the bees plenty of stuff to do, plenty to rob out. All kinds of nectar, honey, pollen in there, and wax and propolis. So I'm assuming that all of these colonies will continue to forage in those dead outs and use it to build up their colonies here for spring.